Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We've made it till Thursday. It feels like a Friday today in South Africa, tomorrow being a public holiday. I hope you had a successful week so far. To all of my athletes, I'm going to ask you, how effective were you so far in your diet this week? How successful were you? We are at day 4, so we are just past the 50% mark line, if that makes any sense, or halfway line or what. How was your water intake? And did you make sure to train when you could train? You know, not everybody has a schedule that could be fixed. Some of us kind of have to hustle and make a plan to put a workout in whenever possible. So just make sure you work as hard as you can and you're putting in as much as you can. I'm excited about the video I'm going to be sharing with you guys tomorrow. It kind of ties in a little bit with what I wanted to talk about tonight. We talked about it last night. Is around competing and placing first, second, third, placing outside of the top 6 at a provincial, at a national, and at an international level. So I feel like I've kind of I've been at the receiving end of every part of that. I have not placed. I remember my first show, I placed just outside the top 6. I think we were like 8 or something athletes, and my number was number 6. And they called out the top 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. So they just skipped me for the top 6. That was at like a provincial show, and that was I think it was my first bodybuilding show. And that hit me hard. Like, you know, what I'm doing is definitely not the right thing. Because I just felt I had a lot more potential, or I could do better if the amount of work that I put in. And that again ties in with the video I'm going to share with you guys tomorrow. The idea about accepting and then working with confidence from down out. If you know yourself, something I think early in my career, I like to read a lot. Something that came up a lot when you listen to masters is about finding out who you are. And it's so funny how the more you know about yourself, it's easier to understand other people. It's if you don't, that you don't. Where it seems like everybody and everything is confusing, you might be in denial and not accepting a lot of your parts, which I think is human. That's not to say that's bad. It is what it is, you know. So that really hit me hard, and I thought I'm going to make a change, because this is not the planned route, you know. Made changes, and then I think I won my lineup, first or second, like a little bit after that show, and then went to essays, and at essays just made the top 10, which I was so happy about. And I think from there, it is always kind of an up and down hill battle. If it's at all a battle, it's, you know, with competing at shows, your placings, and if you're happy or not with that. And over the years, I've been at, you know, as a coach, being at my athlete shows, them not placing the way they should, or like we would have wanted them to, is one thing, and them not placing as they should is another thing completely, you know. And again, judges are not infallible. I am a judge, and I'm telling you that it is just the way it is. You cannot eliminate the human factor involved in judging. There is a little bit of you having to make calculations, and it's not just we don't just think numbers and lines and stuff. It's what you want to do, but yeah, it's always things to consider, you know, and nobody is perfect. And I always say judges are human. You don't need to say, oh, you're not perfect. Like, I know, you know, stating the obvious, I understand. But being it's human means it's up and down all the way, you know. But what I've learned through the years, I think with being disappointed, it comes down to that word, being disappointed. It's if you've set a goal and you attach a lot of value to reaching a certain goal, and of course, that's a part of it, but your goal shouldn't be your placement. Of course, that's a part of the sport, But let me put it to you this way. I almost want to compare it to somebody doing a 100-meter sprint in 10 seconds, and you're preparing to do it in 10 seconds or 9.5 so that you can win the 100 meters. Now, that's what the guys did last year. And if you do it this year, then you'll win. So you prepare and you get up to 9.5 seconds for you to be able to win. And you get it to the day of the competition, and you actually do a 9.2 or whatever, right? But you don't win. You play second or even third or even outside of it. And everybody beating you, it's like 0.001s, 0.02s. It's so close. And if you watch the Olympics, it's happening now, you can see how close it is sometimes. Amazing to see sometimes athletes competing in a race, and there's a 0.001 second split, at the high levels. Imagine that's bodybuilding, and you're on an international stage and you play second, third, or fourth. And there's a 0.001% difference between you, and that's why the judges would rather go for that person first, you second, or for you first, that person second. That's how, in most cases, how close it is. It's so close because there's a lot of small differences, or maybe not a lot of small differences. And you try to be as fair as possible, what is within this athlete's control and what is not. And lots of federations would say, we go with the genetically strong athlete. So if it is somebody gifted with great small, middle, this and that, nice kind of an X frame versus somebody that's got a broader middle, maybe narrower shoulders, maybe not a good structure, then that's what happens. That's not the way it is. The same with somebody in that 100-meter sprint, to be just that example that I used. So there's going to be people with longer legs that can throw those legs faster, they can run faster. That's not the way it is. And if you lose to that, that's it. Sometimes you go there to win, you lose, and you're disappointed. You can't hide the feeling, you'll still feel it. I'm not going to say you can't hide it. Of course, you can swallow that and go home. But sometimes you can't. I remember one time I was at a show backstage and it didn't go as planned. And before I said something, and athletes were already like, what the hell happened there when you got off stage? Like, oh, you got screwed. I'm like, I can't talk to athletes. I can't talk to anybody because I know athletes say this, and I know it's going to work me up. And I'm on my way to my bag trying to get things out. And the individual that won the lineup came into the locker room, and we exchanged a word or two. You know what? I'll chalk it down to competitors a little bit of mouthing off. That's all I see it as. There's no ill will. It's the judges that made the decision, not the athlete. But I'm still gonna run my fucking mouth. Let's go. Sometimes, especially if you catch me at a bad moment, and that is what I was trying to not have happen, trying to get my bag, get the hell out of there, because I knew if somebody asked me something, said something, I might react because I'm disappointed or frustrated, which it all kind of feels the same. We use different words to describe to try and complicate the way we feel. But if you're not feeling happy with the situation, and people poke at the bear, they might get a lashing out, So I thought, let me just get out of here. And I was trying to get my stuff, people to, and I'm just, then I caught the guy literally in the doorway on the way out. Exchange, and as I said, no ill will. Afterwards, we even had a chat. I wish the best to that athlete, and they competed in completely different other parts of the country. So it was actually me going over there to compete, kind of as a favor to a friend. So and that's the thing, doing a favor to a friend. So you shouldn't really be that disappointed. Me going down there to compete wasn't to win. Of course, whenever you work hard towards something, it's always kind of then back in your mind, I guess. It's like, it's that thing that gets you up doing your cardio early, having you follow the diet, all that you want to win, of course. But always go back to the idea of you're here to grow, to learn, and to be grateful that you're able to do these things. That's the one thing I kind of want to bring you back to, outside of all the perception of being a good sportsman, being a good athlete, all that, representing your sponsorships, maybe your gyms, maybe yourself, whatever, right? That, of course, but as I said, as a coach, I've been pissed off. As a coach, I've said nothing. As an athlete, I've also been kind of in both So in your career, if you've competed many times, you would have experienced, I think, every side of it. I've competed a lot of times. I don't know, I've lost count. I did not really count. Maybe we should look into that, But yeah, just to kind of as an example, I thought I would share this with you guys tonight. When you're competing, shows coming up, a lot of my athletes, we've worked together in their placements and coming up. And I understand the disappointment sometimes, but also I understand that getting angry about it doesn't really change anything. You could maybe internalize those feelings when you go to the gym so it can drive you a little bit. Again, we talk about alchemy, using those types of things, not holding on to it for negativity, holding on to it to be able to utilize that as energy whenever you're feeling low energy, whenever you need a little bit of motivation, and putting that thing into the fuel just for fire, man. It works so nice. But it is an acquired taste. It's something that you need to learn over the years to utilize effectively so it doesn't become toxic. It shouldn't, That's a message way longer than I wanted to say. But have a great night, guys, and excited for the video tomorrow. I really think it really spikes thought, and I hope that does it for you guys too. Have a great night, guys. Cheers.